Alrighty, so now that we've gone into the evolutionary and biological perspectives regarding aggression, it's time to shift focus to the psychosocial theories that attempt to explain aggression. Um, we can sometimes think of aggression as behavior that has an emotional basis as well. And one emotion in particular that is important for the next theory that we'll be discussing is frustration. And I can assure that this is an emotion that almost everyone has experienced at some point or another. And frustration refers to that feeling that we get when we're not obtaining the important goals that we have set for ourselves. So, for example, you might feel frustrated when you don't get the grade that you had wanted for after spending so many hours studying for a test. And this brings us to the frustration aggression theory, which states that we will engage in aggressive behavior as a result of feeling frustrated for not being able to achieve important goals. And the goals that we find important range, starting with some of our most basic needs and kind of drive for obtaining resources for our survival. So this can include, feelings of safety being violated, and then us acting aggressive toward the person who made us feel unsafe. Taking money or food away could also lead to aggression. But these goals can also be more psychological in nature. For example, imagine someone talking really badly about you to your friends or your family, and this really damages your reputation or your social standing with them. A natural response to that, of course, would be to uh, maybe act aggressive. You don't want to do something about that. Um, Something else would even be getting in the way of your basic civil rights, or feelings of injustice can trigger some forms of aggression. From this viewpoint, aggression is not just pointless anger, but is a way of protecting yourself. And a question that comes up when we're discussing the frustration aggression theory is, does frustration always lead to aggression? And the bottom line is not necessarily. Um, Provoked individuals are likely to displace aggression toward others they dislike or outgroup members. However, some have found that there are more productive responses to frustration, such as sympathy and humor. Another psychosocial theory that attempts to explain aggression is this concept of social learning theory, which states that behavior is learned through the observation of others as well as through direct experience of awards and punishments. And a very, very famous example of this is the Bobo the Clown doll experiment conducted by Bandura and his colleagues in 1961. Essentially, children were placed in a room with a doll that they have never experienced before, called the Bobo doll, as you can see here on the screen. And for the most part, they ignored the toy until an adult came into the room. However, the researchers randomly assigned the children to watch an adult who was nice to the doll, and they, gave the doll hugs or gently played with it, or randomly assigned the children to watch an adult be mean to the doll, such as hitting or punching it. And children actually mimic the behaviors of the adults that they saw. In fact, those who were randomized to watch the adult be mean to the doll leveled up the violent behaviors that they witnessed. In the original study, children actually went as far as to hit the doll with a mallet and point a gun at it. So the main takeaways from this study is that the Bobo the doll experiment shows there's a consistent cycle of violence wherein children may experience or observe others engaging in aggression and then engage in that behavior themselves. But the flip side is also true, such that non-aggressive models can decrease violence. As we can see with those children who observed to be nice to the doll, they continued to be nice to them after watching an adult do it. Contextual factors are also very important. And a very popular example is the relationship between heat and aggression. Generally, people tend to lose their temper in hot temperatures and behave more aggressively, such that more violent crimes occur in summer rather than in the winter, in hotter years than in cooler years, and even in hot cities than in cooler cities at any given time of the year. And as you can see by this figure here, um, the average numbers of players hit by pitches per game during 3 seasons of Major League Baseball. As you can see, as the temperature increased, so did the likelihood that the pitchers would hit the batters, and they would throw the baseballs really fast and would aim at the person's head. And the researchers actually took into consideration the player's general wildness or fatigue, and this was assessed by walks, wild pitches, pass balls, and errors. And these did not increase with temperature, suggesting that the heat and players hit by pitches correlation is due to hotter temperatures that led to hotter tempers. And lastly, access and presence of weapons is associated with increased aggression. Any object or external characteristic that is associated with successful aggression can serve as an aggressive enhancing situational cue. For examples, hunters had to be more negative aggressive associations with assault guns that did non-hunters, and they behave more aggressively than non-hunters after being exposed to them. In the next video, we're going to be going into the link between the media and aggression and violence.